Hello and welcome back, Dota 2 fans, for another round, another game of this best of 2 series. And, well, after game 1, I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited to see what both teams have out for this game 2. So, with drafting phase already underway, without any more delay, let's go ahead and look on into that. So,
10 seconds.
excuse me if I start cracking my voice in the middle of this. I was off the wall that last game, and I guess anyone who was joining me that last game knows exactly what I'm talking about. I believe off the wall is a complete understatement, but it looks like Torque, Respect banning out the Weaver. We might even see Respect ban out of the Phantom Lancer this game, but all in all, it seems like Outer World Devourer is an immediate ban. And that's pretty much
5 seconds
pretty much the case of any real game, and they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna take out the playmaker. So they Respect ban out the Darkseer, one of Torque's biggest playmakers in the last game, and one of the better base defense makers that they had. So Torque gonna take out the standard Batrider, and Phantom Lancer is gonna be left on the field. But I honestly don't think after that game either team is gonna pick up the Phantom Lancer. It's a real niche pick nowadays. I believe he got nerfed pretty recently, where he's not as strong as he used to be, but the Phantom Lancer Keeper of the Light combo is certainly nothing that you can scoff at, and it really showed in the last game, where Phantom Lancer could be anywhere he wanted to be, and once the end of the game hit, they got the base defense, and then where was Phantom Lancer? Immediately pushing in a lane, and that's the power of a Phantom Lancer, just going everywhere on the map, being everywhere on the map, and pushing in everything. And one of the best heroes to do so. And it looks like the Bears are going to go ahead and first pick up the Shadow Demon. So already going for that Tri-Lane Initiator that was banned out in a group of 3. It was the Shadow Demon, the Bane, and the Astral Imprisonment of the Outer World Devourer. All 3 banned out in the last game. Also, guys, in this pause of the picking phase, I am willing to have people to bring any other people from the Reddit Dota 2 League game, any other drafter from the Reddit Dota 2 League in, and interview as the drafting phase is going on, get their opinion on what the picks are looking like, what they would feel. So if you're interested in being a draft phase interviewee, go ahead and message me, and I'll let you know the next game and you can let me know if you're available. And I think it'd be a pleasure to have you, especially after games like last game where I really need to stop talking, or else my voice is going to be gone come tomorrow. So, Nyx Assassin, he was left in the pool, and he's going to be picked up, and that's the first pick for Torque. And Nyx is a very Snowball-esque hero here. He's got great burst damage when coming out of the Vendetta, and especially with the Mana Burn to follow up, with the Impale to follow up, and if you try to go ahead and counter-initiate on him, well, he can instantly spike Carapace and walk away. And that's one of Nyx Assassin's biggest features. He can get into a fight, try to pick off a hero or two, and if there's any real counter initiation, he can get out almost immediately. And with the Alchemist being picked up right after that, we've got the farm makings of a very painful Tri-Lane on the side of Torque. And the Bears look to be going uber aggressive in this game, as they always seem to go, and they pick up the Lifestealer, who by all means should do very well against an Alchemist, who is a very high health, low armor hero, and that's exactly what the Lifestealer needs to do great amounts of damage.
Daaaa team ban.
So Rubik taken out by the Bears. The Bears are really ruthless about this. They say, okay, we want one of the group, the Rubik Shadow Demon, the Rubik Shadow Demon, Bane, Outer World Devourer. If you were here last game, I called those heroes out, but we want one of those super good initiators, and we're not letting you have any of the others. And it's proven true in game 2 now. So right now, the Bears absolutely have to win this game if they want to maintain a fairly good standing in their group. Otherwise, they're going into second, possibly even third place in their group stage. And that's exactly what they do not want. Any real loss at this point in the group stages puts you back a fair margin. So they want to go ahead and tie the series up 1-1. And they're looking to pull out all the stops here to make sure that happens. Meanwhile, Torque already solidifying a good place in the lead with the first game being picked up. They are trying to make sure that their lead is completely in the green there, and make sure that the Bears, who gave him a serious run for their money, is at least a little bit farther behind so they have a little bit of leeway.
Daaaa team pick.
So, Jakiro and Puck going down the side of Torque. They don't want to deal with the Puck anymore. One of the heroes in the last game that gave them an intense pain in their side. But Jakiro was also banned out in the last game, so usually paired up with the Darkseer. The Darkseer was already banned out earlier on in the banning phase, so not an entire need for the Jakiro ban out, but still a very good support regardless, especially to follow up the Shadow Demon's disruption.
Radiant team pick.
The Visage pickup, though, rounding out, Torque is immediately saying, here is my tri-lane. Go ahead. Do what you want to me. This is what it's going to be. And I'm really scared about this, as they're revealing all of their stops. Now they just got to get an offlaner and a mid, and the Bears know that. Now, it could be that they go offensive tri-lane. I don't typically see Alchemist in the offensive tri-lane position. Hell, it could even be Nyx in a solo lane, as was old meta months ago. But that tri-lane looks way too strong. I don't imagine that they're going to go ahead and split it up anytime soon. But we're going to have to wait and see with the next two picks coming out. I most certainly agree with myself, though, as egotistic as that sounds, that is going to be a tri-lane. The Nyx Alchemist Visage tri-lane. The Unstable Concoction to set up into a Impale the Grave Chill and make sure they can't run away. And all on top of an Acid Spray is going to deal a lot of damage. Lina looks like she's going to follow up the Shadow Demon. We see the Team Red coming out on the side of the Bears. And all in all, it's going to be a pretty painful tri-lane to fight against in both respects. Both teams really revealing what their what the key point in their lineup is going to be. So no real damage on either side. In that case, we see a Razor.
Radiant team pick.
The Razor being picked up on the side of Torque. We don't, well, I guess we see that pretty often recently. I mean, we saw it in the in TI3. We saw it in some of the pro games where this Razor would be picked up. In fact, we even saw the Aghanim Refreshers combo come up one time in a pro game, and that was absolutely scary to watch.
Remaining.
That was like Zeus's wet dream right there. Just so much lightning coming out from this Razor, but Timbersaw is going to be the response to that. Just a lot of niche picks coming out, heroes that are new to the metagame and are really finding their place. Timbersaw is a very good snowballing mid-game burst damage hero, very hard to take down in the early game, and is incredibly mobile despite his big bulky size with that Timber Chain to accompany him. And that's going to be a very scary, possibly mid laner to fight against. And it looks like Razor's going to be the one to take the stance against him, but Razor typically should win any real tier 1 early level, I should say, engagement with Static Link, just removing the auto attack damage. But when you're against a hero like Timbersaw, the auto attack damage is not what you're scared of. So a great reaction to the mid/off laner, and we see Nature's Prophet going to be taken out. So taking out the possibility of split push coming in. They know that Torque now need an offlaner if Timbersaw is going to be playing the mid. So taking out the Nature's Prophet removes the split pushing offlaning prowess of the Nature's Prophet. Bulldog, Admiral Bulldog, one of the heroes to make this hero very famous in the off lane. A lot of control you can do when controlling the enemy's jungle, controlling creep pulls, controlling their lane control, and just outmaneuvering with one hero. So it's going to be a good ban out for Torque, because they don't want that. They don't want to have to deal with a hero eliminating Alchemist's chance to farm. So, with Queen of Pain being taken out, Storm Spirit is left into the pool, and this game, Torque versus the Bears Game 2, is coming into its final picking stage to round out each of the drafts, and both drafters are anxiously scrolling through their hero choices, making sure what they pick is the best hero possible, not only for their lineup, but against the enemy. So in this pause, I hope everyone's enjoying their Labor Day weekend, everyone enjoying their day off on Monday. And holding that thought, right, going back on into the drafting phase, we see Viper gonna be picked up. So, this is going to be... Oh man, this could be, now bear with me here. This could be an Alchemist Visage, Razor Tri-Lane, Alka Support Alk, Viper mid lane, Nyx Assassin playing the off lane. That could throw a couple spokes in Daaa's ideas. When you've got Razor sitting in the tri-lane position, taking Lifestealer's auto attack damage, tri-lane versus tri-lane, that could be a pretty scary to fight against.
Reserve time.
So Daaaa's might need to be careful if that's going to be what the Torque is going for. Without a doubt, though, I imagine Viper is going to be taking the mid lane position. That is almost a guaranteed. Viper, probably almost useless in every other position, isn't really a total carry hero. Not really, doesn't really do too much with too much farm, although can do a lot, but with the very same items that even Alina could do a lot of with. So Viper, not typically the greatest carry, so he's definitely going to be sitting in the mid lane. Controls very well when he gets his ultimate, so going to be getting a quick level 6 and probably go to gank really soon after that. Daaaa's is really heavily contemplating their last hero pick, taking out the ample amount of time that the Viper pick gave, plus their own reserve time they're ducking into, and getting it rather low, but with the final pick, you can most certainly take it as low as you want. So guys, a recap. Game 1 went to Torque. Game 2 is right now between Daaaa's and RXF. You're listening to Chicago Ted with Statsman Sir Rabbit Koala casting this best of 2 series, and with a Kunkka pickup, another stick in the spokes of this game, of these drafting lineups. As we're probably going to see seeing the Timbersaw now playing the offlane, the Kunkka going to be put into the mid lane position to go against this Viper. A hero, despite being melee, can harass from range and will overall do a very good amount of damage. So we'll just have to wait and see what this turns out to be. But in the meantime, as players start picking up their heroes, we'll go ahead on in to the phase that we all know and love, where I get to call out the players' names and the heroes that they're playing. So, it looks like Torque's a little bit slow. I can do that right now on the side of Daaaa's. We have Pokebunny picking up the Lifesteal. Lina being played by Grand Duke of Owls. Shanana being picked up by Timbersaw. No Hero picking up the Kunkka. And I completely forget the last name of Daaaa's, but I can check that out right now. It looks to be Bearju. How did I forget Bearju? Bearju was awesome. Bearju playing the Shadow Fiend. Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon. Shadow Fiend is a completely different hero. Anyway, on the side of Torque, who has much momentum from the last game, is hopefully going to try to take that for another win. They've got Mr. ABC playing the Razor. Wabu, or Wabu, whatever you pronounce his name, playing the Visage. Ridiculously 10, picking up the Nyx Assassin. Meanwhile, Brocrates on the Viper, and Blood Wolf, Fireblood Wolf, playing the Alchemist. So, I was halfway right. We're going to be seeing the Nyx, Visage, Razor tri-lane picking up for the offensive position. We're going to be seeing this Alchemist playing solo versus an offensive tri-lane of Lifestealer, Lina, and Shadow Demon, who is kind of lost his way right now. He might actually get caught out by the tri-lane, the offensive tri-lane of Torque. The ping's coming out. The ward's dropping down. If they get behind this Shadow Demon, this could be very problematic. He's walking now to the rune spot. If they go for it, they see him. Are they going to try to sandwich him? They go in. The Nyx Sun is going to be the first to fly. Will they get it? They do get it. It is in range. Grave Chill. Next up, they have Static Link doing amazing amounts of damage deal. And Bearju doing the only sensible thing he could think of, and just taking the Razor out of the fight. But next, another stun follows up. Another Grave Chill. No, he's got Soul Subject. He pops it out. Is it enough? No. 40 damage. And great reaction by Bearju. Knows disrupting the right target. Picks up the Razor. If the Razor with the highest move speed, it looks like no, with the lowest move speed. What am I talking about? But with extra damage he stole from Static Link, would have done 100 damage per pop. And that would have absolutely melted this Shadow Demon, who looks to be rotating around and might actually be doing a dual mid lane. These lanes are really weird. It looks like a dual mid, Shadow Demon, Kunkka in the mid lane, as a redundant department of redundancy, redundant speaking. Shanana is going to be off laning, or safe laning rather, as a solo Timbersaw. And there we go. Timbersaw getting taken some of his, I can't speak anymore. Some of his auto attack damage being taken away, but that is not one of the main things that makes him strong. So it's going to be kind of inconsequential, and it looks like a tri-lane mid. No, this is just the force rotating in. Alchemist is going to have to be pretty scared about this lane. Looks like the tri-lane is going to be top. They're going to make it a solo Razor versus a solo Timbersaw. I guess I misquoted some information there. So, Torque have to win this to get second place. I misread the rankings when I read them, but we all make mistakes, I guess. Some more severe than others. I'm entitled to one or two mistakes, right? Right, guys? Anyway, moving on. Mr. ABC doing his best. Can control the last hitting and denying very well in this lane if he really tries, but all in all is not doing an amazing job at that. He's got to continue getting that stack link. It's only 30 mana. Just pop it out, and it's going to last for a long time. It's got a pretty decent range, and you basically eliminate the last hitting potential of this Timbersaw, while simultaneously augmenting your own lasting potential and augmenting your deny potential. Kunkka has his bottle online, and is going up and securing himself an illusion rune up in the top rune spot. And that Tidebringer, he's gonna send out a torrent, but it's not gonna hit. And the Tidebringer does end up hitting though. Deny it on Brocrates, and there is a disruption. The Soul Catcher out, just doing a little bit of extra damage. And in fact, the passive of Viper is actually being turned against him. Is at 270 HP right now, and picks up a bottle of his own though, and it's going to be online and on the way. Meanwhile, it looks like the tri-lane, the pull is being contested, but not exactly what I'd call a smart idea. But it looks like they're playing it just fine. They're playing, the Bears are playing it cautiously. They're playing it carefully, and they're actually getting the benefit from it. So, meanwhile, Fireblood Wolf is leveling up his stun, leveling up his acid spray. 1 point up in Greevil's Greed would be absolutely ideal when you're getting a good amount of farm like he is. I mean, 8-0 isn't it absolutely insane, which means that the Greevil's Greed is going to be making up for a little bit of that. But instead, opting for full stun, full acid spray, it wants to be going Battle Alchemist, do as much kills as possible. He doesn't want to be farming creeps, he wants to be farming heroes. The dual mid lane, working out just how we'd expect. Both heroes, lower level, but not by a lot. Sorry, they are lower by a lot. A full level and then some. Mr. ABC, again doing what he can. Already uses a static link, plus 28 damage on him because of that. Timbersaw, minus 28. It just makes him so that he can last hit a ton easier. I mean, instead of 60 damage, you're doing 80 damage. Instead of 60 damage, they're doing 40 damage. So, doubling their attack damage means that you outlast hit them, outfarm them in every way, shape, form possible. And we see that coming online right now. Picking it up to 24 and 12 is already now at the highest. While Timbersaw has barely moved forward an inch since the last time we saw him. He's got to start being careful. We see Phase Boost picked up 5 minutes for this Razor. Is further boosting his attack damage. And now Scenario, which I had outlined, is starting to become more and more true. And Razor is getting way ahead, zoning out this Timbersaw almost completely. And we see in the mid lane, we see the Torrent going down on Brocrates. The Soul Catcher looked like it had gone down, and he ends up going down. Bearju on the Shadow Fiend, taking first blood. I misspoke. Soul Catcher was not actually down on him, but there was enough auto attack damage that didn't exactly matter. So this dual mid paying off in the end. And Kunkka, level 5, Shadow Demon, level 4. Meanwhile, Viper is also level 5, but when you're a dual mid, you don't want one of them as high a level. And We see Timbersaw being forced completely off the lane. Look at that damage being stolen from him. He did nearly zero auto attack damage. He had to completely back off because he had no more mana for spells. But just like that, picks up the Chakram. Still, no more mana. He's looking to pick up those arcane boots, which are going to help him so much in this lane. But the Razor, once he decides that he wants to go on, you better not stick around for the fight, or you're just going to be static linked the entire time, and you watch as you start attacking, and it's doing nothing. Just thank God that the mechanics don't work there. If you have negative damage, it doesn't end up healing them, which would actually be pretty hilarious. But I'm off topic. We see this lane doing pretty well. Meanwhile, Viper going down again in the mid lane, and Kunkka picking up his 6th level. Viper already has it. It looked like he used on the Kunkka, but to no avail. Fireblood Wolf taking a little bit of damage, but no open wounds out. Ready on the lifestealer. Did not actually want to go for it. There is no one here to support this Alchemist. He is sitting way ahead. Still in the levels in Grievel's Greed, but he does have his ultimate. He's going to go ahead and pop that and regen up a lot of his HP. Lifestealer is now top in the charts as Razor, falling behind a little bit on his last hits and denies. And Timbersaw got a clarity online, and he's going to be doing a little bit more damage with his spells. And Mr. ABC has to be careful of that. In fact, the second clarity, if Mr. ABC wanted, he could go ahead and deny that with you, but didn't see in time. No, he's going to get it. He's going to get the deny on the clarity. And in fact, full static link out, Timber Chain, and then the plasma field. But Mr. ABC immediately regretting this decision, but no damage out on Shana. That's actually going to be a kill from Mr. ABC. 254 damage. That's a rapier. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Lifestealer finding that Alchemist. That's a 3-for-1 right now at 7 minutes into the game, but a Razor is not a hero you want to get online. He takes a lot to get online, but once he does, you have to be careful of him. And with a hero like Lifestealer, that Razor is going to be doing a lot. And it looks like that Nyx is going to be taking a full-on from the Lifestealer, and he's going to end up going down the top lane. So this lane is winning hard, the dual lane versus the tri-lane. Sorry, what was I talking about? What am I talking about? Game Bolt, all the teams mixed up. Okay. Bear with me. I'm mixing up the teams completely. It's not the Razor that's getting all the farm, getting all the kills, and not Torque that's getting all the mid lane dominance. It's in fact the Bears with that dual lane mid. So Torque is actually in the lower position there. Razor getting plenty of farm, and in fact they send the Nyx, they send the Alchemist into the bottom lane to contest this Timbersaw. And in my opinion, not the best idea. Timbersaw has a lot of fun versus strength-based carries, but all in all, the Razor is actually a very good counter to the Lifestealer, as when he open wounds you, you move faster, yes, but your passive makes him move faster as well. Unstable Current, I believe it's called. Yep, confirming that right now, and he does have pretty equal farm. And again, this mid lane. Kunkka finding kills where he shouldn't. This Viper getting caught out by the Kunkka and overall dying. The mid lane losing pretty hard in this Viper pick. The niche pick coming out from Torque is not happening as well as they'd hoped. Meanwhile, top lane, Mr. ABC doing great damage to the Lifestealer. No, doing great damage to the Lina. One more attack from the Lifestealer. Almost, oh my god! He thought he had damage. He thought he had damage, but it was stolen. It was all gone. Kunkka trying to find a kill in, sending his boat in, but the Razor is already long gone. Razor thought he had the damage to, Lifestealer rather, thought he had the damage to do what he could to this Razor, but it just wasn't there, and Razor picks up a kill. He is now 3-0, a double kill solo, in level 9 in this game. We take a look at hero levels, and he is now top in the charts. Double damage spotted in the top Runa spot. Is going to make any hero annoying to deal with, and it looks like Kunkka is going to be the one to get it. That's going to be a double damage Tidebringer. For anyone that wants to deal with that, they're going to have a pretty little wake-up call when that water starts splashing on you and you realize you're at half health. Going right through all armor. Tidebringer is a very nice skill to have. Unfortunately, it does have a cooldown, which means it doesn't hit every single time, but it looks like Lifestealer only taking a couple of seconds from that static link. Lifestealer is very fast, so any attempt at a static link will be met with harsh opposition. But just like that, they do get the Grave Chill. But unfortunately, the static link was off cooldown. That would have been a perfect time to pop it, as that would have been easy 200 damage. It looks like Razor going right in from behind. Has his ultimate online, but has not ended up popping it. He's just going in on Bearju, and Bearju taking a lot of damage. And in fact, and now is Mr. ABC, which has to run. But he's got 381 movement speed, 168 taken from that static link. And with Pokebunny slowed, no hero looking to find a torrent, but it's off the mark, and Razor getting a little aggressive. There an X marks the spot. There is not an X marks the spot online. And that static link now wearing off for Razor, and that's going to mean that he's got to be a little bit more careful. Just a tiny bit, and going to go ahead and try to just find some last hits. Double damage starting to wear off on this Kunkka. Looked to want a torrent, but couldn't quite find it. The bottom lane, we see Alchemist finding a little bit of farm. He's right now 5th highest in the farm. He's got 1 point up in Greevil's Greed. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, looks like they're going to go on Lifestealer. Lifestealer quite the opposite, but both teams playing it careful. Meanwhile, Viper getting free farm up on the top lane is going to be a bit of a problem for the Bears if they let that continue to happen. Viper is a very good mid-game hero if he gets farm, but doesn't scale too well into the late game. Doesn't matter. Pokebunny taking a static link. You can't rage through that. And looks like no hero. He's gonna take a soul assumption to the face, and Mr. ABC is gonna be the attack to follow it up. Shadow Demon finds the kill in the bottom lane though, but all in all, it is on the Alchemist, and Alchemist is far from carrying this game. It's right now Mr. ABC's.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant
Still,
structures
Pokebunny
are fortified.
got 1 damage stolen from him. Another static link to follow up. So that's not 1 damage stolen from him. And Mr. ABC taking a Laguna Blade. And he's actually going to fall. Doesn't go down to 1 hero. So that 449 is split amongst 2. But that's still the hero falling. That's a lot of XP to give away. And meanwhile, Disruptor getting a disruption now on the Visage is actually going to Soul Assumption. He's going to Soul Catcher. He's going to I cannot speak. Demonic Purge up the Visage and just the Lifestealer to follow up to finish off the kill. We see the Armlet has been picked up by Pokebunny. Shadow Demon sitting on Arcane Boots, and Timbersaw just finding farm where he needs to. Does have his Arcanes online. Stout Shield to help him tank up a little bit. Viper getting halfway down to that mechanism. Kunkka got Phase Boots and is sitting very close to his Shadow Blade, and Lena got her Arcanes online and on 100 gold on top of that. Looks to be picking up wards, and Lifestealer taking some aggression on the mid lane. Regen Rune spawn in the bottom. Timbersaw finding the Alchemist and doing great damage. 1 Timber Chain, but it doesn't come online as a beautiful mana burn. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Shadow Demon picking up the Viper. We see the Viper with very little farm is gonna dive really quickly, and when you've got a Shadow Demon Lifestealer online, that's gonna end up being a lot quicker than you thought. This team lineup though from the Bears can snowball pretty heavily, and right now RXF, Torque, they lost their Razor to a death in the mid lane, so this Lifestealer is starting to get stronger and stronger, and Razor has to do his best to keep up with that. But there are 3 heroes rotating into the top lane. 1 X marks the spot, could be the end of this Razor, but it doesn't come online. They instead have a disruption ready for him. Still not coming out just yet. Visage trying to keep the mid lane from pushing in, but a Lifestealer pushing against you is going to push a lot faster. And in the bottom lane, Alchemist still trying to find his farm, but taking Chakram to the face, and it looks like Razor is going to go ahead and static link up Kunkka. It's taking all the damage, and Lena is going to fall really quickly. Shadow Demon going to be next, eating an ultimate of Vipers to the face, and Mr. ABC, Demonic Purge up, and it's actually going to take a Torrent is going to take his own illusions to the face, and Chow Demon is going to pick up that kill despite being off the playing field. Razor taking another fall in this fight. Shanna sitting in the acid spray, and just like we thought, lots of kills happening all over the place, but the Lifestealer was able to pick up the kill on the Visage. The Lifestealer can push a lot faster against you and can take you out very easily. Meanwhile, the Bears, this Timbersaw, is just trying to find kills, and he is finding them all over the place. That Alchemist, as I said, Timbersaw has a great time versus those strength melee carries, and it's really showing as he's just ripping through this Alchemist in no time at all. And I believe that's because of the stat loss. That makes that so strong, but really any real carry that stat loss is strong against, but with the strength carry in particular, not only is that minimizing your damage, but it's also minimizing your health pool. So you're getting 2 birds killed with 1 stone. And that's going to make it so that his all of his skills can just do that much more damage to you. Meanwhile, Lifestealer finding the farm of his life right now into the middle lane, and that's accumulating to a lot here. Razor trying to do what he can, but just doesn't have the movement speed, and Lifestealer knows it. Just goes ahead, opens the gap between the 2 heroes, and wastes that cooldown for another 20 or so seconds. Torque taken to the jungle. They are not feeling good about this game. They're not feeling good in the slightest, but Mr. ABC still looking to pull this game to a point where he really likes it.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And it looks like Pokebunny. They are now joined by their 4th hero, who was not there in the last game. Could that be making all the difference? It looks like Soul Assumption out on Pokebunny. Just barely missing the dodge out from the Soul Assumption, but it is not enough to kill him, and he's going to get away. Armlet bringing him down to very low health, but his EHP while that armlet was on was just too much. And missing 191 damage, Viper finding a kill in the bottom lane versus a Timbersaw, in fact. And he's sitting at 70 health away from that.
Radiant's middle tower
My eyes, they're more focused on this Razor. I keep missing kills all the time. Bearju taking a lot of creeps to the face, and Mr. ABC diving way behind tower. He's going to take a Laguna Blade and almost instantly pops. And it looks like no hero. Taking out the creep waves rather fast. That's another death for Razor here, and that's putting him 7-3 despite him finding the most kills. In fact, we look at the kills and the deaths. He has got the most kills, but he's also got close to the most deaths, the most being on the Viper with 5. Pokebunny picking up the mid lane on that Lifestealer, and that's going to open up a lot of room. Possibly going to make Roshan a little bit easier. And it looks like I caught that one, guys. You know it. I caught that one. Just barely, but I caught it. Timbersaw, we just saw Statsman just show how effective this hero is versus the Alchemist. And Alchemist can't find a break. Timbersaw, a great pickup versus, again, any strength melee carry. Heroes that rely on close range to do their damage, and until we see this this Alchemist get a high HP pool rather, and maybe even a Basher, he's just not going to survive in any engagement with a Timbersaw that's running around. So either pick your fights away from the trees or don't go after the Timbersaw. When we speak about a Basher on the Alchemist, well, no, the Basher is indeed going to come out, but it's going to be out on the Lifestealer. And Viper chasing this Lifestealer down. The passive of the Lifestealer's auto attack gives him a bit of slow, but all in all, losing vision at just the right time is going to mean that it's not going to do enough. So with a quick puppy pause coming out from the Lifestealer, we take a look at the recap of this game. 15-7 at 19 minutes. Certainly more action-packed in the early game than last game. We take a look at the golden XP grabs, and they're quite scary in favor of the Bears. 5,000 in both ways, but again, These leads are not are completely overcomable with the right amount of team play, with the right amount of care into the play. So we'll see if Torque can pull off the impossible again and take this game long and take this game hard and win the game in the end. They don't exactly have the best split-pushing heroes to do so, though. And Lifestealer is only getting stronger by the minute. Picks up his Basher and an Armlet. And Phase Boost at 20 minutes. This Lifestealer is getting far. In fact, we take a look at his net worth, and I know my hotkeys. He is sitting 7,800 net worth at 20 minutes. That is... what is that? A little over a 400, about a 400 GPM right now coming out from him. Regardless, just farm trying to be found in the mid lane. The pause has been lifted, and this double damage rune is being spotted in the bottom. They know it's double damage. Are they going to put it on the Kunkka again? Still very good with the Kunkka, especially if he can bottle it up for the next engagement. But it's up to them. It's really up to them who they want to put it on. Both teams know it's there, but only one team's going to get to it. And it's ended up going to be the Kunkka. The Knicks, though, going to find him. If they go on him, that's up to them. And it looks like he is going to invis up. We see the disruption out on the Visage. The Viper trying to do a little bit of damage and ends up getting it. Unfortunately, though, for him, the boat is going to come right in and finish him off. And Visage going to go down to the boat itself. Meanwhile, Razor finishing up the Lina with no trouble at all. And is now sitting at 280 damage if you want to go in. But Lifestealer, with the pickup of the Nyx, it's going to mean this Razor is not going to end up going for it. Mr. ABC really wanting more there, but not finding it. He's getting a point booster. He's going for the Aghanims. I don't imagine we're going to see an Aghanims refresher at this game, but it's always possible. Whether or not they let it go as long for him to get it is another thing. But just like that, 21 minutes, the Bloodstone is picked up on the Timbersaw, which is going to be the more kills he gets, the stronger he's going to be. Alchemist doing his best to find farm. He's going to find a Shadow Blade at 22 minutes. And if I remember correctly, the average is about 11 to 16. So, Timbersaw doing what he does best, and we just see the sheer amount of damage. But Alchemist might just get away, and in fact he does. A good stun, blocking any real aggression. It looks like Nyx Assassin finding his way into the entirety of the bears. Sans the Timbersaw, but not looking to try to go on anyone. Do they have any detection out? They look to not have detection.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Bottom tower being pushed in. In a plasma field, pretty casual coming out from the Razor. He's just going straight in. Timbersaw going on the mid. An ultimate. Viper popping his Viper strike out. And it looks like Razor doing what he can. The static link though missed almost completely. Only stealing, well, not stealing any damage out. And with heroes going down the mid lane, Lina actually falls. And Razor might take a fall here. In fact, he's still alive. Timbersaw still trying to find the kill. Do they find the juke? Do they find it? They do not. And Razor is going to end up getting away. That's a 1-for-1. Lina for a Viper. I'd still take the Viper over the Lina any day. And they're also going to pick up a tower on top of that. Rather, no. That's in the entirety of Torque defending that tower. Razor, though, getting away is absolutely huge, and he's about 1,000 gold now away from his Aghanim Scepter, which is going to make his ult a bit more powerful. It's got a very fast strike interval. Invisibility. And when I say very fast, I mean incredibly fast on the Aghanim Scepter. A lot of damage per strike, and overall, an Aghanim's strike is just, it's an insane thing to fight against. In a team fight situation, those strikes are going to stack up like monsters. And just make sure that every bit of damage done to you is done augmented as much as possible with that armor reduction per strike. In fact, we can take a quick look at that. Armor reduction per strike is 1. Sorry, I thought it was more than that, but still, with a fast strike interval, that's going to stack up really fast. And the Bears pushing their advantage. They're going to go ahead and on and try to take out this mid lane. There's only 1 tower left standing for Torque after this tier 2. Or rather, 2 towers left standing for Torque after this tier 2 goes down. And they're going to use the glyph. They're teleporting in. They want to defend this. They think they're strong enough. And with a Razor, they most certainly could be strong enough. If they win this fight, this could certainly be Razor's Aghanims here. And it looks like Alchemist charging off his stun, his ultimate out. Probably going to be charging his stun rather soon, but doesn't have the mana for it. And that's going to be a disengagement by the Bears. They're just going to back off for a little bit, wait for the next creep wave, maybe engage with the next creep wave, but they're just grouping up as 5 in the mid lane and giving up precious farming time, giving up precious time to get solo XP. Plasma Field being thrown out by the Razor. Not hitting anything but crease, but if you're defending a tower, that's a victory in its own right. Both teams feeling a little bit inadequate right now. They can do little but bat their eyelashes at each other across the tower range. Neither one really want to commit to an engagement. And it looks like Razor realizes that. He goes to the bottom for some solo XP disruption, blocking out the chakra magic, and it looks like the stun is still going to fly. No! He's going to stun himself. He's going to be out of the fight for a little bit of time. Razor going in, but taking way too much damage. The Razor's going to fall. Laguna Blade coming out on Brocrates, but he is going to stay alive in this fight. The Alchemist and the Razor going down, and Visage is going to fall to a well-placed Torrent. And this is most certainly going to be a tier 2 tower, possibly even a tier 3. Creep waves are coming in, and it looks like Pokebunny is instead going to go to the bottom wave and push that out while the rest of his team goes ahead and pushes into the mid lane. They're going to back off. They're going to take their time, though. And they're not going to force what they don't have. They know their team fights stronger, and they proved that in the last fight. Had the stun gone out, that could have gone a little bit differently. But it stayed in a good position for the Bears, and they were able to take the fight pretty handily.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So all the lanes just being pushed right now. Torque doing their best to keep the lanes from getting too close to their towers, but a gem has been picked up on the Shadow Demon, which is going to make the Nyx a little bit less effective in these games. And instead, they're just going to go straight on the Lifestealer, and by all means, they should get him. The rage up, but there are no creeps for him to invest into. There is no one for him to invest into. The mech being used. Shadow Demon, get to him, infest him, let him infest you, do something. The stun going to come out from the Shadow, from the Alchemist. That's going to be enough to pick up the kill. 60 seconds, but top lane, in the meantime, is pushing in, and they can't do anything. They have to go back and defend. If they don't, they're taking a tier 1 for a tier 3. No, they got plenty of time. No, it's a tier 2 tower keeping them back. So they're going ahead. They want to trade a tier 1 for a tier 2. The glyph being used on the Radiant side. Top tower going down at the same time the bottom tower. There was no glyph on the side of the Dire. They had used theirs quite a while ago. And right now, Torque going straight on into the jungle of the Bears. Looking to play a little bit of a war of attrition on, but with their neutral spawning every minute, it might not be as effective as they think. Attrition crippling is only really effective if you've got their jungle in complete hold. It looks like Kunkka doing his best to de-ward, in fact. Isn't able to get it, isn't able to find it. Does he have the gem? He is not the gem carrier. Shadow Demon is no. Who's the gem carrier on this team? Looks like it's gonna be Timbersaw that's gonna be picking up the gem. All in all, just some passive farming going on from both teams right now as the Bears want to make sure they solidify their advantage while Torque want to try to reduce it. And both teams really wanting this win, but only one can get it in Game 2 of this Best of 2 series. Mr. ABC being torrented right on up. No follow-up. He sends out a plasma field to dissuade any aggression out on him. Realizes no one coming in, but just like that, disruption coming out on the Bearju. The boat is going to be a little bit late. Isn't going to follow up with the stun. Hitting on Wabu. And he's going to go down there. In fact, Mr. ABC taking a Laguna Blade, and he's going to go down as well. That's a double kill for the Shadow Demon. And with the Razor down, with the Visage down, and mid lane and bottom lane pushing in, they might as well just go ahead and take Roche. That huge wave coming on the bottom lane.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Lena, just doing what Lena does. Doing what Lena does and just bursting down the wave as fast as she can. She's going to push this tower really fast. The Bears trying to get down Roshan as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Lena, realizing the tower probably just going to fall on its own, backing off. Doesn't want to get a... Is Nick's going to get it? No! Siege Creep too strong. Siege Creep is able to pick up the last hit. And Nick's not reading the damage of the tower well enough. Siege Creep, though, unfortunately, they go and they get their revenge on him. And the Bears, 24-13 right now, have a pretty solid lead in this game. And Shanana just saying, screw it. You're not taking it down, Shadow Demon, fast enough. I'm going to go ahead, timber on up there, and do what I do best. And that's take out wards on cliffs. He does have his Boots of Travel online and is getting relatively close. It looks like he's going to pick up a Shiva's Guard soon. It could be an Assault Cuirass, but on a hero like Timbersaw, you're trying to go for burst mid-game damage. And it's well on into the mid-game, maybe later on into the mid-game. So Shiva's is only going to help. And with a hero like Razor on the field, which relies on auto attacks, with Viper, with Alchemist, that Shiva's Guard is going to do wonders in these team fights. All the aggression though, all eyes on Mr. ABC. Can they get a disruption out on him? Visage could be out a little far ahead, but no. They're going to group up this 5, and they're going to play the Siege War. They're all ready, they're all in position. They're just going to storm up onto the high ground. Nope. Timbersaw realizing when he's being overly aggressive, backing off a little bit. But with that reactive armor, he's almost all the way back up to full health, right on again. And he's going back up. They're going to storm ahead and just playing the demolish game where they just going for the tower, taking little chunks off at a time, and then backing off, letting them regen health a little bit, going right back up, taking another chunk off the tower, backing off. And Kunkka looks to just take out the wave up top. He's just going to go ahead and take this out. Is it going to be a crit? Is it going to be a crit? Nope. He doesn't get the crit he wants. The wave does not get one shot. While the other 4 sitting patiently in mid lane, while Torque can do little but sit up on the high ground and throw rocks. Or rather, visages at the enemy, familiars at the enemy. We see Alchemist playing pretty sneaky, going behind enemy lines to pick up his Hyperstone.
Bottom tower is under
In fact,
attack.
playing really sneaky. He's just going to go in, he's going to try to take out the bottom tier too. But they're storming up onto the high ground. Razor, Viper already dead. Razor about to die, taking a Laguna Blade again. And Fireblood Wolf TP's in, instantly goes down. That's a killing spree for Bearju on the Shadow Demon. Puts out the Soul Catcher on Brocrates. But it isn't enough. They take him out. Aegis popped on the Lifestealer. And the disruption out on the Razor. He did buy back. And he could just as easily go down. But Shadow Demon takes the fall instead. Not exactly a successful defense, as this is going to definitely mean a tier 1 tower. X marks the spot out. They're going to get the Torrent out, and Lifestealer is going to go ham on it. Nope, 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 nope. Called out from the Bears. I wonder where he is. Not sure what exactly. He's going to take a tower, and he's going to go down. What was that? I'm not incredibly sure what just happened here, but either way, mid-rack's going to go down 30 and 15 at 33 minutes, and it's starting to look like Torque's Goose is cooked. They don't have the Phantom Lancer to come back from last game. In fact, their Alchemist is getting little to no farms. But just like that, they're going to pick up no hero on the Kunkka position. And this Timbersaw is going to be too hard to take out, so they're just going to just get away right on out of there. But the Abyssal pickup from Lifestealer is just going to mean that whoever goes on them is going to be met with a quick and painful stun, and a long-lasting one too. It's a long stun even without the active. It's 1.4 seconds without the active, 2 seconds if used with the active. Great item to have on a hero like a Lifestealer, especially one that's snowballing out of control. He does have a Salt Cuirass as well. He's getting a lot of farm in this game. We take a look at his net worth, and he's 2,000. Oh, sorry, that's current gold. I'm messing up hotkeys all over the place. There we go, 16,000 in net worth at 34 minutes. And we see Timbersaw just farm up the enemy's neutrals. Ridiculously tin. He's going to spot him out, but he knows he can't do anything against it. He's just going to back off. No more aggression there. Haste Rune being picked up by Shadow Demon. Meanwhile, Nyx is just going to find the Shadow Demon right up. The fun ends here. Disruption out. But Razor is in a very bad position. There is a Haste Rune on that Shadow Demon. And look at the damage that this Mr. ABC is doing. The Demonic Purge slowing him down, making sure he can't kill. But it looks like once they get vision of this Timbersaw, he could die. No, he's just going to back right on off. Viper going to be the one to try to do some extra damage to him. He could still go on it. I don't know why he's backing off. A little bit of extra damage would have been enough. Kunkka going to send the bow, and it's going to hit. And that's an extra stun to keep the Viper off the lane. In fact, getting dealt damage by his own poison. Bottom lane pushing in completely. They're already down the mid-rack, so they have to be careful about that lane pushing in. And right now, Torque are playing the oh dear. We have waves pushing in everywhere game. And Daaaa are playing the, okay, let's sit back. Let's take a couple deep breaths and let's just slowly strangle our Torque to death. They apply Torque to Torque on Torque's neck, and Torque slowly dies. And that's exactly what the Bears are going for here. They want revenge for last game. They're saying, okay, this time, we're happy to take it a little later. Because you got nothing on us. You're not going to be able to do too much damage to us, and your Razor is not offline and online. In fact, he is nowhere closer to his Aghanim Scepter than he was 10 minutes ago. In fact, he was literally this close. Quite literally 10 minutes ago. That shows almost no farm coming out on this Razor. His Razor Edge trying to get doled a little bit. No hero. Got his BKB online, but ABC just getting absolutely melted by this team. And Rockrates going down as well. The stun coming out from Fireblood Wolf, but being pointed right back into a missed Torrent. He's gonna stay alive for the re-engagement. But can they really re-engage on this? They have nothing to fight with. They're like a bunch of pea shooters at a paintball arena. And Shana taking a good amount of damage, but is able to Timbersaw right on out. This tower is just taking way too much. Fireblood trying to get a stun. He wants at least one kill out of this, but he's got nothing. Unstoppable. Killing spree for Wabo, and Shana is unstoppable. Killing spree now on Pokebunny, and there are the GGs being called. Game 2. Ending at 40 minutes, 35 and 18. And despite a history of coming back from big deficits, this was just too much to deal with. 2,500, 25,000, 20,000 XP and gold respectively. It's just too much for any team to overcome, and we can really break this down to that tri-lane that melted to the dual lane up mid and up top, and the mid lane, the dual mid lane, absolutely wrecking the Viper, shutting them down early, and despite Razor getting off the ground, it just was not enough. So guys, you've been listening to Chicago Ted with Stasman, Sir Rabbit, Koala. For now, guys, this has been enough casting for me today. I'll catch you all during my next cast. I'll see you all later.